Hey everybody, and welcome back. So this episode, do we call them episodes? We're gonna call this an episode. So this video is all about my May book haul. Now, I have a little bit of a problem, but I pride myself in trying to limit my book hauls to about 15 or less books. Thankfully, I have an enabling fiance who really encourages I buy lots of books. So I'm gonna go through all the books I have today. Some are a mix of books purchased locally here in Chicago, and some were found online through bookoutlet.com. This is not sponsored by them, but I will link to all of these titles below. So the first book I have is My Mother's Kitchen. This is a food memoir where the son, his mother's 93 and doesn't have much time, to put it politely. So this book is all about Peter giving his mother that last spectacular feast. The problem is he doesn't really know how to cook, nor does he know most of those favorite recipes. His mom's favorite cooking are those kinds of recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation. So this book is his quest to find those recipes, and I think subliminally will be a lot about connecting with family. So the next book we have is Slice Harvester. This is also from Book Outlet, and this book, as you can tell by the cover, is about one man's journey to find the perfect slice of pizza. I'm really excited to read this one. I'm a New York native, so I always think my pizza's the best. And I live in Chicago, and honestly, I don't enjoy deep dish. So I'm really excited to see if there's another pizza out there that I might fall in love with. The third book from Book Outlet is Pen and Palette. So this book is about two friends really growing up. You know those awkward times in your 20s when you don't know what you're doing with your life, and you also need to learn to cook for yourself for the first time? That's the basic gist of this book. I'm really excited because it's two females. It would fall under the genre of food memoirs, but I'm not quite sure if either of these people are, famous food critics. I think they're just normal girls or young ladies just learning how to be adults, and #adulting and all that good stuff. So the fourth and final book from Book Outlet is a different genre of food books. So we're moving into a new category in food writing, and this would be special topics. So this is called Front of House, and it's just like it sounds. It's all about the front of the house. If you don't know what that means, restaurants, in terms of terminology, there's front of house, where the wait staff is, the grand manager, all the customers, and then there's back of house, which is where the chefs and a lot of that magic happens. So now we're flipping, and instead of talking about chefs, we're focusing on the staff out on the floor, who are really the front lines to the restaurant. People come to a restaurant for good food, but they come back for the service, and I'm really excited to read this one. This book also has a Burgess Lee Press stamp on it. I didn't know what this was until I took the book out of the box. So from the Burgess Lee Press, they donate 100% of their after-tax profits to culinary education, hunger relief, farmland preservation, and other food-related causes. So I already love buying books, and I already love food books, but if I can buy a book and know that some of the proceeds, or in this case 100% of the after-tax proceeds, go to a good cause, I'm all over it. So now I'm definitely going to keep this seal in mind and see if I can find other books that help benefit other causes. Okay, so now we've left behind Book Outlet and we're moving to a local bookstore. So this is actually not a bookstore, but a bookstore that's a nonprofit. So the next three books are from Open Books Chicago. Open Books is a nonprofit that helps create education funds and education classes, especially writing classes for K through 8, and then a set for high school. So I really love that you can buy used books for cheap, and all of your proceeds are going to help the community. Also, this is used, but look at this. This is in great condition. The spine is barely cracked, and I got this book for $5. It's amazing, especially when the average book on Barnes & Noble's is maybe $20. So this book is The Billionaire's Vinegar, and it is about the supposed true story of the 1987 Chateau Lafite Bordeaux. supposedly owned by Thomas Jefferson that sold for $156,000 at auction, and of the eccentrics whose lives intersected around it. So I think this is actually supposed to be about a bottle of wine, but because it was sold for $156,000, that's the most expensive bottle of wine at the time ever sold. I think what this book's really going to be about is how this is a fraud, thus being called the billionaire's vinegar. I don't know too much about it, but I was really intrigued by the cover and really excited by the story. In terms of food book genres, this is probably going to fall under special topics because it's about one specific bottle versus something like the history of wine. But I'm really excited to read this one. So my second book from Open Books is Candy Freak, The Journey of Chocolate Through America. So this, again, brand new book. Looks like it's never even been open. $5. And it is just what it sounds like. All kinds of chocolates in America. That was really not a great selling point, but in general, this book is going to focus on childhood candies and one man's journey to really understand how they launched in America and how chocolate coming to America really changed all of our lives. So this I would consider food history because you're picking a whole topic but then searching and learning about it throughout multiple decades. Final book from Open Books is Tomatoland. If you've ever eaten a tomato, you should read Tomatoland. It says it right there on the top of the book. This is about how Americans have inherited the tomato, which is not native to actually the United States, and how we've genetically modified it, transformed it, and made it a huge part of our industrial agriculture in the United States. Fun fact, I used to work at Kraft Heinz, so Heinz tomato ketchup. I thought it was only fitting that I got a book to learn about tomatoes. So this again would be special topic. There might be a little bit of food history in this, but because it's specifically the tomato in America, I'm going to put it in the special topics category versus food history. So now we're moving to a different local independent bookstore in Chicago called Bookseller, C-E-L-L-A-R. But I love the play on words. It took me a minute, but I love the play on words. So this is a brand new book, came out in 2020, called Wine Girl, and this is all about Victoria James. So Victoria James is the youngest sommelier in the United States. A sommelier is a wine connoisseur. These are the people that can take a sip of wine and smell it and tell you what region in Bordeaux it came from during what season. Was it rainy? Did the clouds come over the hill? Was there a goat screaming in the mountains like on the Great British Baking Show? That's her whole life. And I'm really excited to get the perspective because I have read a few books about wine, even though I don't actually drink wine. And a lot of the sommeliers are predominantly male. And sommeliers, as a connection to other books I just mentioned, live in the front of the house. They have an interesting role because their job is to pair that perfect wine with that plate that you ordered. So if you ordered a steak, what's the perfect red wine? Are you getting a dessert? Maybe you need a white wine. So this book is going to be all about Victoria James and her career start and leading up to where she is now. Last but not least, the final book is Copper, Iron, and Clay. So this is not a memoir, and this is also not a cookbook. It's a special topic, I guess we can call it that, but it is all about Sarah Damon, and Sarah Damon makes copper kitchenware. Copper is a really valuable material and it's very expensive. And in France, if you have a kitchen with copper pots and saucepans, that means you're a 3-star, 4-star, you have some money and some reputation. So the book is a lot of explaining the craft of what Sarah makes, the pros and cons, and actually what the best items or maybe even the best cuts of meat are to be cooked in each vessel. So it's a little bit of a coffee table book. I'm not sure it will take me long to read, but I was really excited that this is a whole section of food books and food writing I know nothing about. It's very rare that you get books about the importance of cutlery and china and plates. So I'm really excited, and hopefully this unearths a whole new subgenre for me to look into. So that's the last book in my book haul for the month of May. I have a lot of reading to do. I'll link all of the books in the description below, and also the bookstores where I got all of the books I went through. I will always encourage you guys on this channel to support your local independent bookstores, especially during these harder times where we can't always peruse the shelves like we want to. Sorry. So what did you think of my May book haul? Did any of these books jump out to you? Are you excited? And tell me in the comments below which book you want me to review first. That's it for now. Hopefully I see you guys soon. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Thanks.